It's a bit of a disaster actually. We've got stuck and we've had to call mountain rescue because we've completely got stuck. We've took way too many risks trying to even get to where we are. We're stuck. We can't go back the way we've came because it was too dangerous. And now we're waiting to find out what's going to happen next.
This is BA. BA lives in Sydney, so he's flown all the way across the world to Europe to come and see me. Since he'd flown all the way here, we wanted to do some memorable activities. Well, nothing was more memorable that was about to happen next. This is the UK's highest mountain. It's called Ben Nevis, and despite having virtually no experience climbing any mountains, it's somewhere I've always wanted to conquer. So after discussing it with BA, we agreed to go do it over a weekend in May.
Hi again. BA is still here. We're going to go on a bit of an outdoors adventure now. We're going to climb England's highest mountain and Scotland's highest mountain, which is also the UK's highest mountain. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to go to the supermarket first, get some supplies, put the roof down in the car and start our 6-hour drive.
Found a penny?
Everything seemed perfect. The weather was great, we put the roof down, we filled the car up with fuel, and we started our journey while the sun was shining down on us. And that's when the first of our problems started. There was a really loud squealing noise came from the car, and then we broke down on the A1 road between England and Scotland. This meant we had no other option than to get trundled back to Newcastle.
Let's try again, take 2. Good morning, BA.
Good morning.
Feeling more optimistic about today?
Not really, but yeah. Give it a crack anyways.
So we'll be going in this car instead. This is my work car. Bit of a backup plan, but there you go.
We were back on the road. We left around 6:30 AM and assumed we would have plenty of time to climb Ben Nevis when we got there, so we took the scenic route up to Fort William in Scotland. We went up through the Northumberland National Park, passing castles, beaches, some stunning scenery before eventually we stopped for an early lunch.
So we finally stopped just to have a little break, give the car a break, grab a KFC, which wasn't my ideal choice, but it is what it is. We've got about another 2 hours to go before we get there, which isn't really ideal because that means it's going to be after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It takes 8 hours to get to the top and back down. So hopefully no delays, otherwise it's going to be like midnight when we get to the back down to the bottom of Ben Nevis.
By the time we actually got to Fort William, it was 3 in the afternoon. This was not ideal by any means.
Okay, we're here, we've made it, we've arrived finally. It's after 3 o'clock and we're just starting. Hopefully we can make it back down in time. I just dropped my glasses and cracked them. That's a bit of an annoyance. Right, let's get going.
Now, before leaving, we'd done a quick search online and it seemed there were 2 ways up. A simple tourist path which pretty much anyone can take to zigzag your way to the top, and a more difficult way which took you up the north face of the mountain. And this was the moment we made the most stupidest mistake of our trip, maybe even our lives. With no mountaineering experience at all, and with me in just trainers, shorts and a thin fleece wrapped around my waist, we chose the advanced path that was meant for people with ropes, helmets and all other essential gear. be honest, the first 2 hours were actually relatively easy, and I even wondered why anyone would refer to this as being difficult. But after we passed the CIC hut and started our ascent up the steep rock face, we soon realised we were completely out of our depth. Parts of the cliff were near vertical, we were underdressed, underprepared and well underexperienced, but this was just the start of our problems. The higher we went, the harder it got. Even the mountain goats and sheep were looking at us like we were crazy. The main problem was that as we kept going higher, it became impossible to turn back. With every single step we were risking our lives. Just one loose rock or one slip with no protective gear, we were guaranteed to die falling down that cliff. So in the end, we made the decision to stop.
So we're almost at the top, but we've took a wrong turn somewhere, and it's a bit of a disaster actually. We've got stuck, and we've had to call mountain rescue because we've completely got stuck. We've took way too many risks trying to even get to where we are. We're stuck. We can't go back the way we've came because it was too dangerous. And now we're waiting to find out what's going to happen next. At this point, the temperature started to get very cold. When you're higher up on a mountain, the temperature is lower. And when you're climbing a mountain, you get very hot because you're sweating. But when you stop, it actually causes the sweat to feel more cold against your body. So I started to shiver quite violently. The only thing that was keeping me from shivering was if I rubbed my legs very, very fast. And that wasn't the only issue. My leg also started to seize up. It's something I've never experienced before, but my leg would just not bend. It just locked into place. It was almost like it was completely paralysed, and I was very concerned at this point because I thought it wasn't going to come back to life at all. But with a bit of massaging, I did actually get my leg to start moving again. But the other issue was our phone batteries. We both had about 25 to 30% battery power left on our phones, and apart from needing them to get help, we would also need them for the light because the sun's getting really low in the sky. On top of that, BA decided to Google how many people die on Ben Nevis climbing the North Face, which obviously wasn't really a good idea at the time. So we were stuck, and then miraculously we heard a voice, and it was an experienced climber who was coming down the mountain. This was a guy with all of the right equipment. He was a proper mountaineer. He had the ropes and the helmet and everything, and he assured us that if we just kept going, that we were only a few meters from the top. So we kept going. To be honest, if he hadn't appeared out of nowhere, I'm not even actually sure what would have happened. But yeah, he was right. A few more meters and we did actually reach the summit of the mountain. That feeling of reaching the top and the beautiful sunset in the background, and just the feeling of knowing that we were finally safe, it was obviously an amazing feeling that I'm sure neither of us will ever forget. But we weren't completely out of the woods yet. We couldn't find the tourist path back to the bottom of the mountain. We started to go to the right instead of the left. We thought that's what the guy had told us to do, but it was a mistake. It was the wrong decision, and there was lots of scree, lots of loose rocks. It kept sliding from beneath our feet. The amount of times we slipped, fell, bashed our knees, twisting our ankles, scraping our arms. It was like a never-ending list of small injuries that we were getting from going down this wrong side of the mountain again. And we probably would have just kept going that way if the guy from Mountain Rescue hadn't called us back. And he called and we explained what we could see, which direction we were going, and he informed us we were going the wrong way. So he advised us to start going in a 45 to 90 degree angle down the mountain to the left, which we did. And yeah, eventually we reached the tourist path. But the problem at this point was the sun had set, it was very dark, and we still had a 2-hour trek to the base of the mountain, the very bottom. And we had no battery left on our phone, so we had to go down in the dark. And even though it's a tourist path, there is a lot of different rocks to clamber down. It's much easier than the way we went up, but it was still difficult to go down, especially in the dark. And then when we got to the bottom, because we'd reached Fort William, we still had another 5-mile walk to the North Face car park. So it took us another hour after getting to the bottom just to get back to the car. Now, aside from the minimal injuries, we did obviously survive to tell the tale, but it was still by far one of the most idiotic things we've ever done. And if you're watching this and you're considering climbing the North Face yourself, and maybe you're not very experienced or have no experience at all like we did, then I highly recommend that you do proper research and get the right equipment, take the right equipment, take a tour guide even, and just don't take any unnecessary risks that could end up costing you your life. But there is a silver lining to this story. Me and BA both got a new perspective on life from this. It made us both realise that your potential is much greater than you think it is, and you can achieve so much more than you give yourself credit for. So going forward, we're going to hopefully put that into practice and do more with our lives. And if you're watching this, I would encourage you to pick your own mountain. It doesn't have to be an actual mountain, but do something with your life that you feel is going to change who you are as a person and make you a better person. Could be quitting smoking, focusing on better relationships, getting your health in order, but we all have something that if we give it our full focus and determination, then we could really achieve a lot more than we think we can. Alright, that is the end. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hopefully see you next time. Ciao.